Okay, so I'm just going to give you a update on what I've been doing. So I think this week was just kind of a progress update. So this week I kind of worked on getting the O authentication stuff going. I don't have it completely working, but I'll show you kind of where I'm at with that. And I should have it all completed by next week for the final project submission. Um, so for this week, I worked on the user logic because for the past couple weeks I've been doing the events. So I'm doing the events platform. So there's users and events collection. The users, um, a user has to be logged in and authenticated, ideally with this O authentication, to be able to perform any CRUD operations with the database, either for users or events, is where I'm going with that. And so this week I worked on implementing the user logic. So this is my model for the user. So username, password, email, phone number, and then they're going to get a Google ID. So I'm using the Google, I think it's Google API, for the O authentication. I don't exactly remember what it's called, but um, anyways, there's that, and then um, I have my routes for the user, so they can get a list of all the users, get an event by its ID, create a new event, update an event, and delete an event. Um, and then it has this is authenticated, which is part of my in here my server. So this is all with my Google OAuth stuff that I've been doing. So I established a session, um, and I have stored the Google client ID and their secret in my env file. So that's not getting pushed up to GitHub. And then I have this callback URL. So when I run the application, ideally, like I said, I'm still working on the logic for it, but when I run the application and the user tries to do anything, they're going to first have to go through the authentication, and so they can authenticate through Google or Facebook or whatever. And then after they've done that, um, once they've been authenticated, Google, I have this callback URL, so it'll throw them back to the application, and they can continue from there, and they can do whatever they want. And so, yeah, so that's kind of what I've been working on this week, is just getting that set up. So I worked on all of this logic here. Let's see what else. I added more routes. So I have my events routes, and then I got my user request routes for local production, or for local host and for production as well. Let's see what else. I also added in this middleware, which is authenticated, that I showed earlier. So if they're authenticated, then they'll go ahead and get that callback URL, and they can proceed through the application. If not, um, it'll they won't be able to proceed. And so I'll just demonstrate that really quickly, um, without making this video too crazy long. Okay, so we're up and running. So I'll just show you how it works locally. So if I try and say I'm running the application, I want to get a list of all the events, but I'm not authenticated yet. I'm going to get this message: user is not authenticated. Um, and so I haven't gone through authentication at that point. So ideally, um, once I've gone through authentication, I will not get this error, and I'll be able to proceed with that request and get all events or whatever it is that I'm doing. So that's what I'm going to be working on for this next week, is finishing up that O authentication stuff and getting it all linked up and working with my application. But other than that, I have all my routes put together and all the other logic that I need, I think, for my application to be finished up and complete for this project. All right, so that's my update for the week. Thanks.